Here's, I guess, part 2 of my science book recommendations. Books that I have not read yet, but I own and am very, very excited to read. Keeping in the flavor of The Origin of Species, you've got The Voyage of the Beagle, also by Charles Darwin. This is kind of more journal-ish about his travels around the world, just studying shit. Yeah, the Beagle, the ship he was on, this is just kind of his writings about his travels and discoveries, so I'm very excited to read this. Again, on the more historical side, we have a bunch of excerpts from Pliny the Elder's natural histories. So he was kind of one of the very first naturalists in the world from, like, ancient Greece. He actually died in Pompeii. Oops. But this is just the very, very basis of, like, wildlife biology and ecology and naturalism, which I am very excited for. If you've seen any of them, it's honestly hilarious. It's things like porpoises are just depressed dolphins. So it's not very accurate, but it is very interesting, so I'm very excited about this. I actually just got this today, and it is the field guide for my entomology class. I was reading it on the bus today, so I guess I have started reading this, but this is just the field guide that is the required reading for bug identification in my entomology class, but I am very, very excited about this because I love bugs. In the same vein as that, my mother's boyfriend for my 21st birthday got me a Birds of British Columbia book, which again, it's another field guide, but I'm very excited to read. That says a lot about the status of my social life, but I'm very excited about this, and I will be reading it, and I will be going out to identify birds. Another one that I'm very excited about and will be starting to read as soon as I'm done either The Quantum Bullshit or The Origin of Species is The Little Book of Mushrooms. So basically it's just an illustrated guide to a bunch of different mushrooms. I am so excited about this. The cover is fantastic. This is absolutely great. And when I'm reading this, expect an extensive series about different types of mushrooms because that will become at least half of my personality while I'm reading it. Again, in the same vein of I have too many field guides, the Audubon Society Field Guide, North America Seashore Creatures, is a book identifying a bunch of sea creatures around the North American shores, and I'm very excited about this because I like sea creatures. Have not read it, I've had it for like a year and haven't gotten to it, but yeah, here we go, sea creature field guide that I'm going to be reading cover to cover for fun. Another one that I've had for quite a while but haven't gotten around to reading, The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs. This actually has 2 books. There is The Rise and Reign of the Mammals, which I don't have but am going to get when I'm done reading this. Basically, dinosaur book that I'm very excited about. This one is Alien Oceans. It's kind of in the same vein as the Zoologist's Guide to the Galaxy that I talked about before. Basically, this is kind of the search for life in space and how that's kind of going and kind of what to expect from that. Or not what to expect, but the hypotheses surrounding that. We've got a series of fortunate events, which basically it goes into all of the small little things that went into life ending up how it is today. Like all of the little chance coincidences and like all of the things that happened to get us to where we are today. Kind of like a history of life and stuff, but in a it looks like it's gonna be funny. Honorable mention to medieval people that my grandfather got me when I was like 9 for my birthday, which is not a very age-appropriate gift, so I haven't gotten around to reading it, but now that I'm no longer 9, I am excited to read this and see what it is. It's more of a historical one, looking at like kings and queens of England, Joan of Arc, etc., etc. So I am excited to get into this eventually. It's just, not very age-appropriate for a 9-year-old. And finally, another more history-based one, you can't really see, Lives of the Caesars. It's again more historical than science, but it's about all of the Caesars, the Roman emperors and stuff, like Julius Caesar. So it looks interesting. I'm excited to get into it. Also might do a part 3 of this on later on all of my mythology books because I have a ton of them, but unfortunately they're not with me right now. They're back at my mother's house in my sister's room because she likes the aesthetic of them. So maybe next time I'm back at my mother's house I will do a book recommendation of all of my various maybe classics and mythology books. But as of right now, those are the scientific and slightly history books that are on my to-read list that I haven't gotten around to, but I'm excited for.